Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Harold Campos, and today I will be presenting another episode of the Mission Critical series We Speak, where we showcase the use of Azure Logic Apps in enterprise mission critical environments. The topic for today's session is IBM I, formerly known as I-Series or AS400. So let's start defining or discussing about what is IBM I. IBM I is an operating system for IBM power servers. It was originally released in 1988 as OS400 as the sole operating system for the IBM AS400 line of systems. It is known as being a fully integrated operating system, meaning that the database, middleware, security, runtime, and hypervisor are integrated into the stack and licensed as one solution. Microsoft Host Integration Server provides integration solutions for AS400, I-Series, IBM I, and now power servers running IBM I. Although its architecture is standalone, not distributed like mainframes, for many customers is considered a small mainframe. It falls under the mid-range computers category. We have an offering in our cloud with our partner Skytap. Has an environment available for Microsoft Azure. So if you are interested in using this environment, then you can go to www.skytap.com or look at our marketplace. So let's continue. How do we integrate with IBM I programs via TCP/IP? We have, besides the technologies that we've been offering with Host Integration Server for many years for integration with I-Series and AS400 systems, today we have in Azure Logic Apps an IBM I connector. So these connectors allows you to call IBM I programs. The way how it works is that you have a workflow like this one called get balance. You have a number of connectors here, triggers, actions, and then this connector will allow you to integrate with IBM I based environments in on-premises data centers or our offering Skytap on Azure that hosts IBM I servers as well, or any other flavor of IBM I environments. So how does it work? Let's see how does it work. So our IBM I Azure integration technology support integration via TCP/IP. We use a DPC or distributed program calls that allows applications to call IBM I programs and pass parameters input and output. After the program runs, the output parameter values return to the client application. If you need SNA over IP connectivity, you will need to install Host Integration Server. We support today the report program generator, RPG, and COBOL programming languages. For you to be able to use our integration technologies, you have to have access to the program. You will have to work with a IBM I programmer or admin to give you access to the program. So let's take a look how is it that we can do this. Let's go to the machine. Here I'm accessing the Skytap environment. Let's work with members. Then let's hit enter and let's do display. And this is the program that I'm going to be calling today in this environment. It's called Cedar Bank program, RPG program, and this was created a while ago by us for testing purposes. So if I want to take a look to what it has, it's a fairly straightforward program that just returns a balance. So we're going to be able to see this and to access this from a Logic Apps workflow. Now going back to the presentation, then for us to define the structure, to replicate the structure, to mirror the structure of this program, we need the HIS designer for Logic Apps. There is a video that you can watch in the channel that has information on how to use it, and there is also the public docs that explains you how to use the HIS designer, not only for integrating with RPG programs but also with COBOL programs or even PL1 if you follow the guidance that we have provided for integrating with through COBOL programs. So then that is possible as well. So if when we are defining a connection, when we to a specific program, we need to use programming models. They determine the method used to access and integrate mainframe or mid-range applications. So basically, what it does, it tells you how is it that you're going to be connecting. Well, yes, you will be connecting using TCP/IP, but it tells you more about the mechanisms available for integration. Like for instance, in this case, when I go to the designer, I have to pick the protocol that I will be using. In the cloud, we have TCP and HTTP. And if I select here target environment, I should be marking the system I distribute program call, or DPC. And then I will have this screen that will basically confirm the settings that I will be using in the designer for Logic Apps. When I am ready, when I have access to the copybook or to the program, to the RPG program or copybook or member, then I will be able to import it, create a definition of this using the designer, and then it's going to look like this. So let's take a quick look to the designer now then. So I have a program that is ready here, right? But basically, the process to create an HIDX, it can be looked at in the documentation for the HIDX designer. But basically, what you are going to do here is that you are going to go and create a .NET client definition, and this definition, let's just do a real quick one. We'll take TCP, DPC, you select RPG or COBOL. In this case, it's going to be an RPG program. Then you select the library, the data separator, if you have one, or time separator. If not, then you will just go with the default settings, and then you will import the corresponding RPG program. In this case, we have a program that's called get accounts. So then what I do is it's going to tell me, okay, so this is the name of the program, this is the program name and the library name that is coming embedded out of the copybook, right? So then I hit next. I can change the direction of the parameters, in, out, or red val, if this is a value that will be returned by the program, right? Next, and then I can define the structure, the parameters for the structure that I have here in the program, and then I hit finish. So then once I have that available, I'll see that I have I'll see the get accounts, and I'll see also the structures that I have available for the program to work with, right? So this is great because I don't have to be manipulating the looping or the data types, the mainframe data types or the mid-range data types, because the designer does the conversion for you, so you don't have to worry about these things. Basically, it creates a map for you to use the program. Now, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to import the program that we are going to be working with right now. So if I go to look for the banking iSeries program, I'll see that I have here the Cedar Bank program that has 3 parameters, right? All of these 3 parameters, they will map to the parameters that I had in the get balance method, right? Same as in this one. So then if I go here back to the once I have this definition, I save it, and it's going to generate an HIDX file. This HIDX file here, is the file that you're going to be using in the Logic Apps workflow. So then you will go to the workflow, and then you're going to select for the IBM iProgram call connector, call an IBM iProgram, and then you will create a connection. For this connection to be created, you need to have access to, well, in this case, the IP. I'm using a Skytap environment, so I have the public IP. I don't have to configure any special networking settings because it's a public IP. But if you were to interact with an environment with an AS400, iSeries, or IBM i that is on premises, so then you will have to create an express route circuit or a VPN, or find a way to protect the network to your data center. So then you will be providing some basic information like the mid-range IP, the port, and credentials. I strongly advise you to work with the mid-range specialists because they know exactly what to provide in these cases. So let's take a look to the private preview of the IBM i in-app connector. If I go to the portal, right, so I have a workflow that has been completed. Let me show you how it works, and then I'll create one from scratch. So if I take a look to the designer in this Logic app, you'll see that I just added a simple trigger when an HTTP request is received, right? As a trigger for the workflow, and then I have used this banking iSeries object that I just shown you, and the method name is called CedarBank, and it repopulates the parameters here for you. Right, so can I show you all the parameters, right? And then what's going to happen is that this particular program receives two parameters, one which is the name and the next one which is the account, right? Key makers and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then if I pass this information, I go to the workflow, to the overview, and then I just hit run. So then what's going to happen is that the trigger will execute. It will trigger just any HTTP request, and then it will call the IBM I program in the remote environment. I'll see that the return value is 123.12, right? So then, what is I think what is interesting to see here is that yeah, it was a fairly fast execution, because I mean, this is a simple program, but also let's remember something, right? Something that we need to consider is that every time that we create my workflow, a workflow, and we try to integrate with these legacy systems, right? Let's not forget that these technologies that we are using, many of them, they came from the host integration server product, who was designed to integrate with these legacy environments many years ago. So this technology was designed when networks were not comparable to what they are today, when resources were very scarce, right? So then all of the connectors that we have available, they have been optimized for low latency execution, right? So for me, as I uploaded the HIDX file here already, so it's available for me. So it's available because I uploaded into the maps directory, right? I select this one, and then I say that the method name will show automatically. So if I go to get balance, it's going to show me the parameters available for get balance. Now, one important thing to say is that I created a connection already to my Skytap environment. So in this case, I can add a new connection, and I can create another name, and then I can add all of the values to another IP or another environment, right? So in this case, it's using the pre-populated values for the environment, but it's basically going to be the same as the other workflow that we just looked into. So I hope this was useful. This was a very short explanation of how this technology works. I will be sharing a link to a survey if you're interested in using this private preview for accessing IBM I environments. So stay tuned, and thank you for subscribing to the channel.